I told my very sick mother she should kill herself. 4 heartbreaking confessions from r/confession. I'm putting my extremely profoundly disabled 7-year-old into a residential facility so I can forget he exists. I'm not sorry. I can't tell anyone this, even my therapist. Lambaste me if you want, and maybe I even deserve it. I only ask what you would do if you were in my situation. Not what you think people should do. What you would really do. I'm a single mom of 2 boys, 12 and 7. My husband passed away 3 years ago in a work accident. A very large portion of me believes it was a suicide. I can't see him ever making the mistake he made that caused his death, and he had taken an action just before that which ensured his co-workers weren't in the room. I fully believe he killed himself because of our younger son, and no one will ever change my mind. We were told when I was pregnant that he would have Down syndrome. We could handle that, even if it was severe. It turned out he has a chromosome deletion. His disorder is kind of rare, so I won't post which specific one, but suffice to say he'll never be anything more than he is now or has ever been. And what he is nothing. He doesn't appear to have any awareness and never has. His eyes are locked in one position. He doesn't respond to noise, touch, or pain. He is total care. He is capable of nothing. He is tube-fed and on oxygen. He is in diapers and will be forever. He makes no sounds, no attempts to communicate. He never even really cried as a baby. He has never made an attempt to interact with anyone or his environment. I'm not upset because I got a special needs imperfect child. I feel the way I feel because this thing takes up 200% of my time and does nothing. I didn't get an imperfect child. I didn't get a child. I don't love him. He doesn't have any personality. There is nothing to love. And yet I'm responsible for him. In addition to his extreme delays, he's also medically fragile. Respiratory crises, fecal impactions, his autonomic nervous system doesn't function properly, issues with his G-tube, infections, pressure sores no matter what we put him on or how we position him. Our older son has suffered because his non-existent brother has colored everything in his life. He's had medical care get delayed because there's only one of me and his brother is more critical. We do have a visiting home nurse, but only 20 hours a week, and we aren't eligible for more. I was starting law school. I gave up my dreams and my plan for my children for this potato. My older son can't do a lot of things he wants to do because of the younger's need for care and appointments. The final straw was I heard a sound. I went into younger son's room to check, thinking he had forgotten how to breathe again, and saw older son hitting him and screaming, "You're why I don't have a mother. You're why I don't have a father. You're why I can't have friends over. You're why I can't be in sports. I didn't ask for you and I hope you die." Instead of being horrified, I watched. And younger son just did not react. No signs of pain or fear or upset. No reaction at all. He breathes, but he is not alive. He doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know who older son is. He has no sense of self, life experience, or awareness of his surroundings. He doesn't need to be in my home. He doesn't know or care where he is. He is genetically my son, but he is not family. My previously abused, brain-damaged cat who can't walk straight has more personality and is far more lovable than my child. In fact, I was looking forward to raising a Downs baby. Even one with severe impairments, for that reason. With disability can come gifts. This boy is not a gift. He is a genetic mistake. I probably should have miscarried and would have definitely terminated if I'd known he would be like this. And the flip side is, if he has awareness, he's miserable. And there is nothing I can do. If he has likes and dislikes, no one knows what they are. If he is in pain, he can't tell anyone. If he wants anything, he can't communicate. He's had every imaginable therapy, nothing has made a difference. And so he's leaving our home on the 29th. I feel excited and relieved and then guilty because I know we'll be happier with him gone. He's already taken my husband and my son's father. He was working so much out to pay for the cucumber's care. For the experimental therapies insurance wouldn't cover. Because this one was going to be the breakthrough. He was tired and defeated and disappointed. He sought counseling as well, but I don't think he could ever say the words "I don't want my son in my home" either. He's ruined my older son. I was so wrapped up on the younger I never realized how ignored and damaged he was. He lost his father too. I didn't just lose my husband. He is my priority now, and this malignant lump can be someone else's problem. At least they'll be paid a wage to care for him. At least they'll get a break from him when they punch out. I just want to never think of him again, and I'm not sorry. And for that, I'm sorry. Thanks for reading. I told my very sick mother she should kill herself. I'm not here looking for forgiveness or validation. That may only be because of how this ends, but the words were said and hiding it feels wrong. My mother has been sick for what seems like my whole life. As each year passes, her condition worsens and her quality of life diminishes to levels nobody should ever be subjected to. At this point, she's been stuck in a bed for almost 3 years. My family, both immediate and extended, have been involved in caring for her over the last 15 years. We all care for her, but there is a point where the burden of caring for someone who is trapped in a cycle of 1 step forward, 2 steps back becomes unbearable. Things like dating in high school, getting a job, and moving out were all non-existent or majorly delayed for my siblings and I because of the need for us to be around to help her. She has noted this at multiple times, and it seems she is blaming herself for us not having normal lives. She's not entirely wrong, but it's not something we are really concerned with. I really wonder if this isn't part of what her reasoning was. My mom has threatened many times to kill herself since being stuck in bed. She has the ability to do so with the medication she is prescribed. Practically any option you can think of, it's available. We all tell her how she's wrong. We tell her she has a family that cares for her. We tell her she is stronger than she thinks and should keep fighting. During her most recent freakout, I agreed. I've always been one to say that people should be able to make this type of decision, provided that they are in a state they cannot recover from and their quality of life has diminished to a certain degree. Why not? Would I really want to keep living if I were in her condition? No. So my mom asked me when nobody else was around, why shouldn't I do it? My response, maybe you should. If you do, I'm not going to be upset with you. I'm not going to say you have a reason not to anymore. We've told you to keep fighting and you've only gotten worse. If you do it, I'll be happy for you not being in pain anymore. If you don't do it, I'll be happy to see you tomorrow. At this point, I walked out. It has been a few months now. She has cheered up and claims she doesn't remember our conversation. At this point, I don't know if I should feel good about being honest with my opinion and saying what I did, not putting on the show of but you need to be strong etc. To be honest, I do though. She really has been through hell. I won't be the reason she continues to live in pain. But yeah, I told my sick mother to do the unthinkable. Thank for taking the time to read. TL Doctor, my very sick mother asked me for a reason not to kill herself. I suggested she should. I abused my sick mother growing up. I grew up in a cult and my mom restricted me from doing virtually anything a normal childhood would entail. She made me go to church, didn't let me do sports, and her schizophrenia took a toll on me. She was loving, and always supported me. I remember the times she tried to bond with me as a teen and have simple conversations about her childhood and her feelings. I knew she was delusional at times, and I would call her crazy. I just wanted to be my own person, but to this day I still struggle with insecurities. I used to hit her and tell her horrible things. When I was 13, I told her I wished she would get cancer and die so I didn't have to deal with the emotional neglect. Well, she ended up getting cancer when I was 15. And now that she passed away, I look back at all the times I chose to go hang out with friends when she was suffering at home alone sick. I did help her. I rubbed her back and cuddled with her. I told her I loved her. I just didn't believe her cancer was real, and I still can't believe she is gone. And I feel so terrible every day. I wish I could see her again and tell her how much I love her and appreciate the love she's shown me despite her mental illness. I put bruises on her and stressed her out immensely in my teens. I just can't cope with the guilt and grievance. I treat my dad with utmost respect now. I am always worried for his health and happiness. But looking back, all he did was work. He wasn't there for her mentally. And neither was I, and it kills me inside. Especially now that I'm a mother. My alcoholic mother doesn't know that I also struggle with alcohol. My mother is an alcoholic, and has been for a while now. It started getting a lot worse when I was 15. Curious to see what it was like to drink, I started asking my mother if I could have a glass of wine with her. Eventually, she began to see me as her drinking buddy, as she's extremely withdrawn, works a stressful job from home and doesn't tend to spend time with friends a lot. We both began drinking an entire bottle of wine each at least 4 times a week when I was 16. If I was staying over a friend or at my boyfriend's house, then I wouldn't know if she was drinking or not, but I was. This behavior lasted until I was just past 17, when I started college again after dropping out twice in my first year and met a guy who actually supported me and treated me amazingly. I slowly began cutting out alcohol, therefore spending less time with my mother, and in doing so she depended on it more. I never said anything to her about her problem because I also struggled to give it up even though I knew it was bad. And having it in the house constantly was like having a safety blanket if I couldn't deal with staying sober. It's now been just under a year and a half and I'm only getting genuinely drunk once every 2 or so weeks, which isn't much for a student. And I've been able to keep my drinking almost strictly social and to an acceptable amount. I think she's realized she has a problem now too, after I mentioned the safe amount of units to drink per week was what she went through in a day. She binge eats now instead. The thing is, now that she isn't drinking as much, all of the alcohol left in the house isn't going to be missed if it disappears. I'm drunk again tonight, after finishing off the last of the cream liqueur. I'm on a diet too, I was doing so well before today. She doesn't see me as a cause for concern because she hasn't realized that I'm the same as her. I don't have the guts to tell her I'm in deep as well because it'll be more stress on her and I'm getting better over time, but I'm still not ready to let go of my safety blanket. Thanks for listening. Subscribe and hit the notification button for more videos.